me your top 5. Not including yourself. I know you will put yourself in the top 5, but just give me a top 5 that you're not in.
What do you mean by that? Like
guys in the league.
Guys in the league address. Who do I like?
Who you like that's doing it. It's not that just because they not in your top 5, they not dressing, but that your top 5.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say top 5. I would say who I like.
Yeah.
Like who I like. I like, obviously, Jordan Clarkson. I like his swag because it's him. Yeah, it's himself. And when I first came into the NBA, he was on my team. So I got it firsthand like, oh, this is a dude that's in fashion that I think is fly. Like, I'm looking up to him in certain situations because coming in, I'm a rookie. He a 4th, 5th year player. And I'll say him, Frank Jackson. Frank Jackson.
Okay.
You know, I'm not just a top guy. You know, I see him and it's just him. It's organic. It's himself. You know, I love Book swag because it's him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's certain guys in the league you see they just put on the designer and they stick it all over themselves. Yeah. You know, or it's everybody wants to dress like Travis Scott now. Everybody wants to do the street stuff. But like what's your swag? Like I want to see your swag. So got those 3. Chris Paul is very clean. He keeps it real casual, very, 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 very mature-like. I like that. 5 is tough.
There's a lot of guys fighting.
It's a lot of guys. It's a lot of guys. I feel like there was a rookie I liked. Damn. Jalen Green, I like what he's doing in the fashion world. He was out in Paris. For his first time. And, you know, just watching him, Brandon, what shows he went to, he's doing the right thing too. So I'm gonna say those 5.
I respect that. That's a good 5.
Yeah.
You know who get left out of people 5 that
who?
I have a huge appreciation for? It's PJ Tucker.
PJ? Oh yeah, PJ. Yeah, PJ's there too.
PJ just a fly. Like PJ just get it.
Can't hide money.
He just get it. Like, he just get it, man. PJ is there for me.
No, PJ too. But it's so subjective.
Yeah, it is.
Relative.
It is,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like I could say my 5, but I'd be like, oh well, shit, I love PJ too, but I just didn't put him there.
No,
but,
for sure.
You know, so
I can dig that. You get to the Lakers and you're afforded the opportunity by coming to the Lakers to build a relationship with Kobe.
Yeah.
Talking irrational confidence, that's the irrational confidence king, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
He worked, and that irrational confidence just became a part, became a part of who he is. But that's the irrational confidence king. How did that relationship help you, especially early on in dealing with, like, y'all was getting y'all ass kicked. Lakers fans do not handle that well. How did that relationship help you continue to do what you were doing and deal with the shit that people were starting to say?
You know, the biggest thing he always ever said was keep the main thing, right? That was one thing. And 2, just like, that was like my North Star. You know what I'm saying? You may never get there, whatever, but it's what you get out of it is what you're trying to reach. Right? So the ultimate professional, take care of your body, playing every single game, having this type of mentality like, yo, like I'm here for a reason. This is my purpose. Like my purpose tonight is to kill. My purpose tonight is to go out and help my team win. Like having somebody like that early on in my career, I mean, changed everything for me. You know, I could say the same thing about, you know, Bron coming year 2 and seeing it from a player perspective. Because, you know, Cole was here. He was gone, retired at this point. So it was just like, you know, word of mouth. But like, Bron, I'm really seeing it too. So, you know, just having that relationship with Kobe, it was everything. Like, I still have the text messages. Like, we just had never deleted them. You know, just things to go back on, things to think of. Like he was just so smart, man, about just everything, putting you on game, just of things you wouldn't even think of, like the attention to detail that he had in basketball, he had in life, he had it in business, he had it in relationships. And like, that's what I want for my life. So
speaking of Bron coming here, when Bron came, the Lakers traded a lot of pieces. And I remember during that time, I know a lot of people don't, but I remember during that time, it came down to like what pieces were they going to trade?
Yeah.
Because it was you, it was B.I., it was Jordan Clarkson, it was the list, Josh Hart, Lonzo, the list goes on and on. And it comes down to what pieces are we going to trade? And they ultimately decide to stick with you and trade Brandon Ingram. And that time, I'm not even sure you realized that was going on at that time in the business because you were so young. I realized it was going on. But if you did realize that was going on, what did that do for your confidence that they essentially chose you?
I mean, that they believe that I'm a winning player and I'm somebody that can bring a championship to this organization. I mean, what more? And none of this was never said, right? It's just I'm reading your actions. Your actions are telling me you believe in me because you didn't trade me, right? And you think whatever role I may put in, whatever, you think that's going to help y'all win a championship.
Absolutely.
So that just gave me even more confidence. You know what I mean? And shit, it worked out.
It definitely did. I think the thing that people don't realize is when you make decisions like that, and so some people who don't understand winning,
right,
and basketball to a certain extent, but definitely don't understand winning will say, oh man, but Brandon Ingram has been an all-star.
Right.
So that was the wrong move.
Right.
But if you understand winning, what I say is, but they won a championship.
Right.
And so regardless of what your thoughts could be on that topic, they won a championship. And that automatically trumps everything.
100%.
And it's funny because I was telling Trav earlier, you know Trav. Travis is my trainer. I was telling Trav earlier, I said, Kuz coming today. He's like, oh, Kuz is coming today. I forgot. I'm like, yeah. He's like, damn, that's dope. And then he goes into this whole spiel about your time with the Lakers.
Yeah.
And he starts discussing that move.
Right.
And the reality is, the one thing that we discussed, and you said it, I'm not sure that team still wins if they keep B.I. over you because of the skill sets. Like, all of these pieces have to fit in.
Have to.
And what you brought to that team, you were like, you and KCP were the shooters. Like, y'all had Danny Green. Danny was kind of up and down that year. But you and KCP were the constants in shooting. And I'm not sure, especially at that point in the career, like B.I. now, he'd knock it down left and right. But at that time, he was getting it and driving right.
Right.
And I don't think people realize how impactful that move was. Because if that never happens and this team doesn't win, that y'all team don't win a championship, what does that look like for Bron? Are the Lakers as an organization still honorable to Bron?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what does that look like for AD? Is like, are they crushing him because they haven't won a championship yet? And I don't think people realize how certain moves play into that. Like, they'll never give you credit for that championship. But I recognize it.
No, I appreciate that.
I recognized how you went from, oh man, I need to score, to passing up shots. I recognize how you went from doing so much off the dribble to like, nope, my role is to shoot this ball. I recognize the winning plays, and I hit you. And I said, yo, I'm watching you play. You've changed. Like, it was a total 360. And I'd imagine, and you can tell me, I'd imagine Bron and his tutelage and learning from him has something to do with that.
Well, I think for me, like you kind of hit it on the head, right? You can put, we're talking about winning championships right now. You know, the average fan, you know, they look at just shit on paper, right? Paper don't tell the whole story. Chemistry and fit are the most important things to win a championship. Right or wrong? What would you say? Right?
It's more important than talent. You have to have talent.
You could have,
if it don't fit, don't matter.
You could put 4 all-stars on a team, and on paper it looks like, oh shit, they're going to win a championship. But how do you know? Is that third or fourth all-star that you bring in, is he willing to now act like a fourth option?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
me, I was willing. In my first 2 years, my second year in the league, I averaged 19 and 5.
Yeah.
Like, that's loud numbers for a second-year player.
Absolutely.
Right? But I don't play basketball for that shit. Like, I play basketball to win and win games. And whatever role I got thrust with, one, I'm going to do it. Because one, I'm on a LeBron James team. Let's keep it 100 right now. Like, you're on that team, and you see that man and him being a professional, like, you're going to fall in line. Because it's a certain excellence in standards, and you don't want to let somebody down that cares so much about winning and this. Like, you want to be part of that too, right or wrong.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, for me, I don't, I always feel a certain type of way. I did feel a certain type of way. I'm at peace now. I don't care. You didn't win. You didn't do this. I was the third leading scorer on the NBA championship team.
Absolutely.
How many people saying that? Not many.
Not many.
But granted, me being selfless and having no ego in that situation, because it couldn't have been easy. I could have just ran with the excuse, they didn't give me a fair shot and I didn't do this and I do that. But if you know me and you know me personally, I'd tell you that was the best thing that ever happened to me in my career.
One, how do you feel about comparing eras? This era
It's oblivious.
to that
It
era.
doesn't make no sense.
I think it's ridiculous.
It makes no sense because, like, you cannot compare the 60s. And granted, I did see what Jerry West said, and I love Jerry West. He's an OG, and he's
Absolutely.
a savage for what he said, because that's some real shit.
It
You
is.
know what I mean? Listen, you got it. You got it.
Hey, ain't
But-
nobody saying nothing back to Logo.
You definitely
got it,
not.
champ.
No, sir. But it's certain things you can't prepare. Like, and I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but like, the point guards of today are unbelievably talented.
Mhm.
They're way more elite than any point guard in the history of any, like, you know what I'm saying, from an
Mhm.
athletic standpoint. Granted, Magic Johnson, yes, he's coming in this era and he's whooping ass. Straight
in
up.
any era.
Any era, he's
Yes.
whooping ass.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, he's whooping ass.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Allen Iverson, he's whooping it. It's all relative. So you're just thieving the joy out of a lot of things when you just compare and you want to, like, do that. Like, it doesn't make no sense. Like I saw your tweet. You talked about the game was from the free throw line and in, right?
Absolutely.
Y'all are just gonna pack the paint, right? And you're just gonna be on the string defensively, right?
Facts.
But what are they gonna do? Like, granted, they're gonna have a game plan and a scheme too.
Mhm.
But y'all have seen that. Y'all understand and know how to play that. They, in the 90s, would never see playing 4-point line defense.
Absolutely.
They've never seen that before. You guys have seen it. So that's
Mhm.
already the advantage. In my eyes, at least.
I agree 100%. Like, people has been. It's a 3-part statement, actually.
Right.
And the first part being, I don't understand why people compare eras, but when they do, I had a question. Do they take into account the difference in styles? Because there's no way they can be taken into account the difference of styles. Because I am sitting here watching, and I was literally sitting, I watched the entire game 5 of the 1998 finals,
Mhm.
Chicago Bulls versus Utah Jazz. And I'm sitting here watching the game, and I'm like, man, Rodman is incredible. Like, MJ is amazing. Pip, incredible. Karl Malone, insane. John Stockton, although they had his ass bottled up, something crazy.
Oh, for sure.
Him and Hornacek had no chance. They had no chance. And I'm appreciating all of their greatness, right? But I'm watching it, and I couldn't help but say, I just don't understand how you can compare us to this team.
Right.
Not that Michael Jordan isn't great or the greatest player, or however you want to slice it. It's not taking anything away from that.
Right.
Not one bit. But just the style of basketball alone, I mean, there's a guy catching it at the free throw line, a guy cutting to the corner, and a guy flashing to the post.
Right.
There's no spacing. And so I'm watching that, and I'm like, the point that I was making was, You see what I'm saying? We'll beat this team by 20 and we'll beat them by 40. The actual point that I was making is, and that's why it's dumb to compare eras.
It's dumb, and then it's also play styles and it's officiating. Well, are we going to play with handshakes or are we going to play freedom of movement?
Facts.
Right? There's certain teams that can get away with certain things. Like, I believe if the Showtime Lakers, they would fucking dominate this era because they were. I mean, I was watching Magic in the '80s, just highlights like earlier in the summer. People don't realize, he was fast as shit.
Yes, he was.
No, he was fast as hell. Like, he was getting the rebound up the court in 3 dribbles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the NBA now, right?
Absolutely.
Right or wrong. Kill. But certain teams might have been a little different. Great.
Mm-hmm.
You have great players, whatever. Jordan being this era, he's averaging crazy numbers too, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Even crazier numbers.
For sure.
Right? Now it might be a different type of if Jordan played in this era, it might be like, ain't nobody touching him.
Mm-hmm.
From a point standpoint, a championship standpoint. But you can't compare it. It's just too tough.
That's my whole sentiment. I hope people one day understand that. Do you remember AOL? Are you old enough
Yeah,
to
you got
remember
mail.
AOL?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Dial up.
Can you compare AOL to high-speed internet today?
No chance.
Was AOL great when we used it?
Amazing.
Okay. The internet great?
Amazing.
But just because the internet great doesn't mean AOL wasn't great when it was being used, right?
You can't compare AIM Messenger to DMs, bro.
Why in the fuck can't we do that with basketball?